Hello, I'm filmmaker Archie Wright.
Hello, and I'm ball painter Tim Baker.
Where tradition turned into stories and stories turned into laughter. Stay tuned because this is the Shrovetide Podcast Season 2.
They all play hard, they all play well, but there's always stories to be told. That is why I have the great honor to say, Archie Wright and Tim Baker, are you ready for the stories? Who will the guest be today? When the ball is robbed in red, white and blue, and the Englishman tries his best, the players get stories, which is why we are here. Archie Wright and Tim Baker. Who is the guest today?
So can you tell us about your friendship with Paddy Kerr, you being an uppard and him being a downard?
It started a long time ago when I come to live in Ashbourne in 1967. I went to the Methodist school and they assigned somebody to be with me. You know, I knew somebody out of the class and it was Paddy Kerr, and we stopped best friends ever since. We went to all the schools together, Parkside, secondary modern, then to the grammar school, and then he went in, well, before he went in the army, he was at Dove Valley Poultry while I was waiting to go away and be a jockey. We played darts together, and then when he went in the army, we still, you know, met up at Shrovetide every year. And I would think it riled a few people, but it was old school friendships. And, you know, we both respected each other, and he is, in my eyes, a very brilliant runner. He was magnificent at carrying the ball. And, you know, and we're still very good friends now. We have stopped one another once each since, but you know, I respect Paddy, and he works on the committee and he does a lot of good work for Shrovetide. And after he stopped running, he played very well in the Org. I've got nothing but respect for him.
So in that said, John, obviously you're on opposing teams, but being such good friends, were there times when you helped each other out as well?
Yeah. We helped each other quite a good bit. In 1986, Matty Thornley's ball, there was 6 of us run off with it, and they'd agreed I was going to have it. We went behind the old St Oswald's school, and so me and Paddy went to meet him at the Railway Tavern. We did it in the churchyard, and Graham Lee found it, and it went off in the car.
Right, of course.
So, you know, and I thought that was my chance gone, you know what I mean, but wasn't, you know, we tried out, and it was ever so funny. On the Tuesday ball of 87, Johnston Hemstock had ran off with it, with Jeff Harrison from up the top of Fishpond, and I caught him coming into Clifton, and I ripped his hoodie off, and Paddy was there, and Paddy says, come on, get in. That's how I got in the river, and I put my hands on the post trying to stop them scoring. That's how we played, because I played with Steve Bott, Andrew Lehman, Terry Wesson. They were good players, but you know, that's the game, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
So you've got your ball painted that you gold, and it's very nicely painted. Stuart Avery, I believe.
Yeah, Stuart Avery did it.
So how come you had a horse on the front?
That horse's pictures of a horse called Desert of Wind, and I used to look after him, and he won a lot of races. And then obviously I had this local council, it was Mr Sid Taylor. They threw it up.
Remember him well.
And he used the word, he wanted it to be scored by a wrong uppard or a wrong downard. That was in his speech at the dinner.
Correct,
Yeah. I believe he played in his day.
He gold as well in 1949, I believe it was. Yeah.
I knew his other brother quite well because he used to come in Mum and Dad's pub. Eric. different sort of a builder, man, a bigger bloke.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember as well as I can, John. I'm sure you can. That year in 1987, on both days, the paint came off really quick, didn't it?
Well, I was going to tell you something at the end. I had 2 phone calls the morning after I'd goaled it. And the first one was from George Andy, who was on the committee, wanting to look at the ball because they couldn't believe how the paint had come off.
I remember, yeah.
And then the other phone call I will tell you about later was very special.
Well, I have to say, at one point in 1987, I think it was on the Tuesday, as a matter of fact, I picked up a piece of the paint that had come off the ball. I think it was the crown or something like that, on a big chunk, and I kept it in my hand all day, trying to keep it to take home. And I kept checking it, and by the end, it was all crumbled and stuck to my hand with sweat.
Who painted the ball that year?
Sandra painted them in 87.
Sandra Chadwick, yeah.
And I picked a piece up on Shawcroft Arch. I think it was the crown or something like that.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep it all day, but I couldn't keep it.
Did it crumble in your pocket?
It crumbled in my hand. Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
So did you ever think, when you goaled it, if you would have Sandra or Stuart, or did you always know you wanted Stuart when you had it painted?
Well, it was very wet, and it took a long time to dry out, and it was a friend of mine who lived near Stuart Avery, Philip Sims, and he'd done the lady who used to be the steward here at the Legion. They put like a pack of hounds on it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, with the green velvet on.
Tom Brown.
Yeah, that's it, Jean Brown.
Yeah.
And she showed me that, and I thought, and he did it, and you know.
Because this would have been one of his early ones.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
Because he didn't actually paint for the game until 2 years later than this.
And when I spoke with him, and he asked me for a photo, for the picture. And so I gave him a photograph. He says, I'm going to put you next to somebody special. And he put me next to John Mansfield. And I thought that was as honour as you could ever have.
On the painting, this one?
Yeah, on the first painting, Tim.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
So do you ever think, John, when you was playing Shrovetide, that you'd ever goal a ball?
You dream of goaling them, Tim, it's a dream, and I don't know.
Did it ever cross your mind at all?
Well, you go back to the first time I ever ran off with it in '75.
Right.
We ran off with him. Barry Handley was with me. Barry Dougie Sarter, Brian Wibley, Andrew Lehman.
Was this the Brian Clough ball?
Yeah, and we went a long way with
right.
it, a very long way. And we come in, and I thought, but once you've been with them on the break, it gives you that ball. The first time I ever picked the ball up, I was age 13.
Really?
On the Greyhound car park.
Amazing.
Do you remember Frida Wood?
I do, yeah.
She's got a photo of me. She had a photo of me.
Right.
Don Lowndes' ball.
1974.
Yeah, Terry.
Archie's hero.
Terry Weston crossed the road. Squelchmeller's van come with the sliding doors and stopped us. And it got kicked on the car park, and I picked it up and I started, and I got a few yards away from the shouted me back.
It's got Don on his pendant, look, John.
Yeah, he's a good player, and I only saw him at the end of his career.
Yes.
But Andrew Lehman always said we should have let him on with it, and then we went down to George Botham's barn. Dougie Sarter made it, he broke his leg, and he dropped the ball out of the back of his jumpers, and the rest of it went to go. But it's good, But I think once you've got that taste, it's like Mick Wright running. You think, and not being detrimental to anybody, all the others will tell you the same. Once you break and you're away, you don't go that fast.
No.
You go Merriman space, as we call it. Yeah.
So before you goaled your ball in '87, did you ever have a chance to goal one before?
No. I was going to go. They prepared to let me try and goal '86 as second ball on the Wednesday. Mark Harrison had goaled the first one. I'd ran down with that with Paddy, and we broke on Church Street, and Gordon jumped into the church, and I never seen him. I would only be from that table behind, and he put it behind a stone. And there were 6 of us, 3 downs and 3 uppers, and they agreed that we'd go to uppers and let me try and goal it.
So you said, John, that you came to Ashbourne in 1969.
67.
67. How old were you then?
7.
You were 7.
Yeah.
What can you remember? What you felt when you first saw this for the first time?
Frightened.
Were it really?
Yeah. And I was thinking about things. first time I properly played Shrovetide was at Parkside School. And we were playing in the first playground, and there was the fencing, and a lad called Charles Ambleton, lived up Windmill Lane, fell into the rose bushes, and the thorn went under his eye. And Mr. Clark was the headmaster. He stopped us playing.
After that?
Yeah.
What did you play with it, football?
Yeah. We used to play Shrovetide at night here.
Right.
And you used to have to goal it on there.
On the right?
Yeah, Steve Challoner, Harvey Brown and all them used to come
Absolutely
and play.
amazing.
But the first time I properly played was I used to go to Don Lowndes.
Right.
And he got Lord Manners as one hanging up the play.
Yeah.
But he got a brown one. He said, go on you lads, you can go and play with that then. Me and Don and Frank Lomas or something.
Amazing.
We used to play with it.
With an unpainted ball.
Yeah, and it was good.
That's amazing, art.
Yeah. You know, I'd be 13 or 14. Because young Don never really played the game.
No, he didn't, did he?
The two other brothers did a bit, Terry and David, and Linda's very passionate about it, the daughter. But I just saw him at the end, and all my years of playing Shrovetide, it was the farthest I'd ever seen the ball pushed up the river.
Right.
What we call the S-Bends, Brookside.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, they come out the river, and Don Lowndes was very strong, and the hook collapsed. Not Barry Cooper, Richard.
Right, Richard Cooper.
The one who lived in Derby.
Yeah.
They had to get the hammer. Somebody fell on him with his knee and cut his. He looked up just white as a ghost.
Oh dear. Cut his neck?
No, he was just got no oxygen. He looked dead, he did.
Really?
They resuscitated him, he was alright. But no.
So before you moved to Ashbourne, did you have a clue what Shrovetide was?
No, I didn't know nothing about it. I've been to Medbourne to watch that bottle kicking.
Oh yeah.
With the barrels, and it's alright, but it's not the same as
Not
this.
the same as Shrovetide.
This is worlds
Do you
apart.
remember what
from-
age you started actually properly liking Shrovetide?
I'm probably about 10, 11,
about
but
10.
then like I was saying, the first time I picked it up was when I was 13. And it stops with you. It does. And Gordon Creswell's ball is probably one of the funniest experiences. It broke in what we call next to the fish pond, in the thick part, and that wood.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, I won't say the person's name. A lady went to stop him, Terry Lasson.
Okay.
So he flung an arm out, she went flying. I was laughing my head off. He chucked the ball, he says, clear off with that ball. So I went like Al and Andrew Leams, went into a garden, tried the door, third house, opened the door, thought I was going up the jitty, went straight through the kitchen out front door.
Wow.
Mrs. Dunn.
Oh,
Used
yeah,
to the
yeah,
court
yeah.
at
At the school, yes,
She
yeah.
chucked, God's honest truth, if you ever talk to the Eunice or Belinda will tell you, she chucked a bowl of custard, all right. Didn't get me, got Claw, Jeff Harris. And that was Gordon's ball.
Right, and she took a load of custard.
Yeah.
Because you went through her house.
They gave it me and they said, don't give it to anybody. And I got up onto the mill lane and I was done. I give it Gordon. Gordon was a very good one. Very good. But no.
So you were like the first Jonathan, really, in a way, of the upward comeback, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we got Paul Armstrong. Paul was
But he was a one-man
man band.
But you got, 87 and 89 Mick got it.
Yeah.
And then it started to build after that, didn't it?
Well, the year after in '88, you think you're unbeatable. You're running and running come ever so easy to me too. And I never get broke off. I was in the Ugg. I used to play in the Ugg a bit. Loosed it on the car park. Coming up Horse and Jockey Yard. And I caught them by the telephone boxes here. They were on the floor, and I just went and ripped it off them. 5 o'clock time. Went uptown all yard. And we got to the end, and there were only 3 of us, me, Mick, and Paddy.
Right.
And they said
this ball is
no,
it?
86s.
86.
And Paddy says, what are you doing with it? I said, well, I've got to take it. 88, sorry. I said, well, take it back. We'll go up. He says, I've got told that he turned the other way. So I caught him and we run down the long way under Hanging Bridge, the 3 of us. And it was the first, Mick ran with me on mine, but it was the first time he was ever involved.
Right.
But it was a void ball.
Then,
it was void, that was. John, I don't know if Nobby held it.
Can't remember.
No, we chucked it back up off the.
Anthony Bates scored it on the Tuesday.
This was the way we chucked it.
Wasn't gold.
On he chucked it back up off on the steps
Right.
at the old medical centre where the library is.
That's it, I remember
Philip
that.
Tomlinson did.
I remember that.
And I was trying to explain to John Gasby, he was asking me, I said, how does it work then? There was 3 of us. We were still in, there was more than 3 at the end. We were in Pews, the dentist garden at Clifton, that's where we sat with it. And in the end we gave it to Graham Lehman. Paddy gave it to Graham Lehman and said,
To goal it.
try and go. And he said, no, he got in and we were out of time.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
So can you tell us any stories about when you played Shrovetide?
Well, I know a lot.
One. Give us a good one, John.
Probably one of the best. We'd come out the river with it, through Cheddar Gorge, come straight across, and Porwich there he had the milk crates.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, didn't think it'd be open, it was open, so we locked the door, me and Paddy went through, and Paddy could climb, he was in the army, he went up the drain pipe, and I said, where are you going? I said, I can't climb up there. He said, no, chuck it me, and then run round, he said, I'll come over the Green Man with it. And I said, no. I said, as soon as we go out here, they're going to... So he come back down, we looked for somewhere to hide it, couldn't hide it. I said, we're going to have to go out there and just chuck it. And that's what we did. That was a good story.
So what about this ball, John? Tell us how you goaled this.
It was a good team effort. So they played hard in the river. It come out swimming baths time, and the upwards had made their mind up. It wasn't going to be gold. And I spoke to Steve Bott about 9 o'clock. I says, there's an opening down here by I call it Frank Wright's.
Yeah, on Clifton
And they loosed it about 9:10, and Botty kicked it, and me and Paddy got hold of it. It went down by Frank Wright's. Paddy picked it up, and we run across the old railway line, and we went in the river where Percy Gallagher's and Harry Atterbury's pigeon lofts were. So we got into Tomlinson's field, and I went to the left, and I got onto the road first, and everybody thought we were going to Clifton, which helped us, and we swung back up Dovehouse Green, and there was 2 more downers joined us, but I won't say who they are because they haven't.
No.
But there was 3 downers and 3 upwards at the start. Paul Armstrong and Gordon Cresswell were with me, they're all in the grease. And as we come round down what I called Old Webster's Lane at the top of Church Banks, Mick Wright and Rob Godfrey were there. It was the first time Mick had ever ran with the ball, and he ran with us all the way, and it was just gone 9:30 when we passed the bowling green, and Paddy had got the ball, and I says, we'll step it up a bit, and we did, and we got a field away from the mill, and I sent Mick Wright and Rob Godfrey in to tell Steve Bott, Bill Ratcliffe, Frank Lomas, Andrew Lehman we were coming in. But we went past a field past the mill. Gordon took us to Ernie Allen's farm. We come down, and the hardest thing when we got in the river, me and Paddy, we made a mind up. We were going to come in from the top side, where the mill is now. It used to be on the post. We jumped. Hardest thing was getting out the river that next side. It was like
some bank, John, there
like a sheer bank. Well, we run in, and I touched it twice, and everybody dropped in on top, and there were 4 or 5 wanting a draw, and Frank Lomas said no draw. He's fetched it up, and Steve Bott and them. And I goaled it. There were a few hands on it, but when I went under the water, like a shovel grabbed me and pulled me up out of the water, and it was Frank Lomas. And Frank, we went to the bank, and they were arguing a bit, and Frank said no, and he took me back on my own, and I goaled it again on my own with just my hands on it.
Always a good fair player, Frank.
George Hanley was the witness. He was there from the committee, and it was the first one scored in the river at Sturston, this ball is. Obviously the last one on the what we call the totem pole as well, the spindle, was Steve Botts in 84, Gordon Cresswell was 82, and Andrew Lehman was 2000 in the mill. So he talked 7 years. There was only 4 goals at Sturston.
That's right.
A lot of the time we'd get there and they wouldn't let you in.
Right.
I can, and
the uppers wouldn't let you.
yeah, they'd stop it. But then when we walked back, it was immense, feeling. And the 2 stand out to be tall. And we were in the Green Man, and my wife come in to see me, Deborah. I don't know. And then Freddie Mellor brought my dad, and my dad was full of tears.
Oh,
and it was amazing.
Because he had the pub, didn't he?
And it still brings back emotion to me now too.
Yeah, it's nice.
But they picked me up at the gates, And Botty was one side and Bill Radcliffe one was. But I never went down the courtyard.
No.
John Gasby and George Handley, and I can't think who the other person was. It wasn't Mr. Taylor. Met me by Callas.
Right.
And they stopped and they dropped me down and they asked who I was, and John Gasby said, "We hail you," was the score.
Right, so you were ratified there?
Yeah, and then they took me down the yard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So going back, like, I know you started when you were 13 years old playing this game, and you had your break then. What when you were playing Shrovetide as a young, or watching Shrovetide as a young man, sorry folks about the noise, who did you used to see in the water and admire in them days? What players were in the thick of it when you were a young lad?
Steve Bott stood there. He was brilliant. Terry Wesson was very, very good. He looked after me, no end of times.
Right.
Like, top outside the plough one night, they sent me in as though I come out with it, and they made out to do it with ribs, carry me down the street.
Oh, that's something.
And he was good, and Frank Lomas.
Frank
was good. And then the lads who come were just young lads then, you know, the Ellabies. You know, and you see them get blossom.
Yeah. And then goal themselves.
Yeah, George Handley was good.
Right.
I saw George, you know, play.
Did you see George goal his ball?
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
What happened then? Was it just given to him, or?
Yeah, it was given to him, but there was...
Did you plonk yourself in Owl?
No, he met him on the bridge.
Right.
Because in them days, Tim, you could score in two places.
Right.
Go down the hole and there was a trap door on the top, and there used to be two people on that, you couldn't get in.
Amazing, yeah. George was a lovely bloke.
Lovely bloke.
Full of good stories.
Yeah, he was good. Barry, his lad, was a very good one. Should have goaled one. Should have goaled one, yeah. I ran with him a good few times. But then, when you've goaled it, it's as though you're floating.
You wouldn't goal another one?
No.
Not now, but would you?
No. I think one's enough, and you know, a lot of I call them younger, but I played with them and everything, and you know, you're as happy for them, and they gave them, I don't know if they gave it me as a privilege the other year, Tim, when Tom Allen goaled it, I had to announce that Tom Allen had won the draw.
Really?
I don't know if that's a bit of respect.
I think it is a lot of respect.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So it should be.
Yeah.
You've been a good player.
The one story I'd like to tell you.
Yeah.
So you'll tell me the year. We broke with it at 3 o'clock, and nobody saw that ball till 10 o'clock at night. And it was when they brought the rule in, Tim, brought the time rule in, because there was a lot of trouble in the town. We went down Mayfield, come back to Sturston.
When they brought it to 10 o'clock?
No, the hour rule.
Oh, the 1 hour rule.
How to play.
Was that when Steve Hudson goaled it?
No, it was before that. So I hadn't goaled, so we come round, there was Barry Hanley, Knocker Howard as we knew him, Martin, and Harvey Brown.
Right.
So we gets to Ofca till 6 o'clock time, we didn't know. So Barry said, "Go in, Doddy, and tell my dad I've got it." So we wandered in, we left Harvey. So Harvey comes to us, "What you done with the ball?" "It's safe, I buried it on Ofca till."
Right.
So he goes back to get the ball, they'd sorted out we were going to come in and try and goal it. Barry was. So I said, "Where is it, Harvey?" He says, 10 yards in from the light on the hill, and a ploughed field. There was 3 lights, weren't there? So we were trying to find the ball. What I'm telling you now is God's honest truth.
It's brilliant.
So we went in, wouldn't let us in, come back out. So we tried again about.
And you buried the ball in a field?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hid it again, tried again at 8:30, George said, "Forget it." So we went on the park, played with it on the roundabout, and we took penalties. And then walked back, there was an L on back.
And it wasn't gold?
No, we played all, you know, we'd sort of
to look at it, I'm not sure. You got me stumped, John.
Yeah.
The old oracle's fading.
Yeah, that was a good story. But you meet friends, you know, Tim, and you play with them and you respect them.
Of course.
It's like, I'd have liked to have played with John Mansfield. I saw him at the end, and he could still move it then.
Right.
And
formidable player.
Yeah, I did a lot when he lost his son Frank with the Pigeon Club.
Yes.
I went and helped him doing the haymaking, and so he showed me 15 or 16 out biked up every day, and he was brilliant. And he showed me the balls. They're in like a wooden box.
Really?
Not painted up.
No, not painted.
And I was going to tell you this last of all, but I'll tell you now. So the second phone call after I goaled the ball, John Mansfield rang me. on the Thursday morning, and he lived at Wetton then, and he says, I'm glad you got one, John. He said, you stood out and knew, but he says, promise me one thing, play that game till you can't play no more. And it's always stuck with me, as Tim, you know, for him to say something like that.
And from somebody like that as well.
You know, everybody looked up to him, didn't they?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Arch?
So I'll finish off with a really good question, I think. You know when Brian Clough turned up in 75?
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember ever singing Old Lang Syne or God Save the...
It wasn't sung, I don't think.
No. I know they gave it him back and he chucked it back, but that was the ball we ran off with, and we went early and we went round by Mappleton and we went up to Thorpe. I remember coming down by the Dog and Partridge pub.
I believe that's our way, isn't it?
And George Hanley was in a Metters down Sandybrook, made sure we got across the road there, and everybody thought we were going to catch. We'd come down from the catch, and then Dougie was with us, and I think Dougie wanted it, and Andrew Lehman.
Yes, Dougie did say he wanted it, didn't he? Yeah.
And Brian Wibley had ran well, and then there was Barry Hanley, myself and Knocker, and they come in and, you know, next thing we knew, George went down the steps, met us on the, you know, they had a bit of a conflab on the bridge and went down and goaled it, and that was it.
That was that.
But it's a big ball, you know, Tim.
It is a big ball, yeah. I've got it in the museum, folks, at the moment.
Yeah.
If you want to come and have a look at it.
Yeah.
It's a Jack Smith ball, believe it or not, so he made them big.
I did it.
Just a quickie, I just want to get in before we close it. Obviously, we know you've listed all your upward contemporaries, with the exception of Paddy, because you've got a unique friendship there. What downers did you enjoy having a good tussle with in your playing days?
I never had a tussle with Steve Challoner.
No.
He ran with me. Roo ran with me. Me and Roo. I'd say the best one. Jeff Harrison.
Jeff, yeah, he's mentioned a lot, isn't he?
And your Gary was. He talked to you. But he stopped you. You know what I mean?
That's typical
in a
of
nice
Gary,
way.
it's a nice
but
bloke,
I got on well with Gary, and I got a lot of respect for him. And I feel very sorry he never goaled one. I thought he'd goaled Steve Hudson's ball.
We all, as a family, were gutted.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about how Paddy Kerr, you know, your best mate, goaled his ball?
It was 1986 on the Tuesday. I'm trying to think of the man's name from
John Robertson.
From
Orkney.
Kirkwall ball game. It broke, and Gary Baker broke with the ball, and we got to a thick edge, like a big ollie edge down towards Clifton, just past Nestles, maybe. And Gary chucked him. We were gone, me and Paddy, and we went to Clifton, hung around for a bit, and next thing Paddy leapt in. He was convinced he goaled it. They said it wasn't. They dragged him up the river. A couple of the downers did, chucked it back out. We ran off with it, about 8-9 of us, and we were on Mayfield Road hugging it, uppers and downwards, and Don Lowndes and Colin Lugrice from the committee come and took it off and said the ball's been warded as a goal. So I walked back with him with the ball, with me knowing Don, and I come up to Mum and Dad's pub here in the marketplace, Yale Volks, and Paddy was in there. And I said to Paddy, you've goaled the ball, they'll give it you. No. I said, honestly, come on, we'll go down and get it. And he never got carried back in.
Amazing.
Bloody hell.
And it's an amazing story. For say how good a player he had been, he never got carried back in with his ball.
Oh, I'm glad that came out in the end and he got it though.
Yeah, he deserved the ball, yeah. I mean, the year before he'd ran well with it, and he never got in on the draw on Melvin Moore. We'd ran from off top of Buxton Hill with it, come through the town, and that was before 3:30, that was gone. Yeah, Jeff Harrison was hard but fair. He'd tackle you, and you knew where, you know, and he run a lot with us. But yeah, I'd say Jeff was probably the best one. And then if you're asking me for the best upward players, I'd say Steve Bott was the best bugger I've seen, and the best runner was Paul Armstrong. Was exceptional. He got pace, he'd glide, but I think Mick was better. Mick Rice the best.
Yeah, good luck.
In my eyes, because I know I'm older than him, but he'd come along and we ran a lot together, and I did a lot of false runs for him.
I don't think anybody would argue.
No.
So before we finish off, the Shrovetiders are there watching this podcast. So what advice would you give to the Shrovetiders out there?
Right, I've been lucky, I've played it for a long time, and I want this game to carry on for hundreds and hundreds of years. And you don't want to be responsible for losing the game in your era. You've got to respect the committee, respect the marshals because they do a blooming good job, and play the game hard and fair and take it to Sturston both days, lads.
And folks, this is the legend that is Jonathan Dodd.
There's a town still plays this glorious game, though 'tis but a little spot, and year by year the contest fought from the field that's called Shawcroft. Then friend meets friend in friendly strife, the leather fort again, and they play the game right manfully in snow, sunshine or rain.